Welcome to my first look at the Hizen, a Tier 8 premium Japanese battleship. It's the main reward from the Divine Regent campaign, and the ship boasts 12 16-inch main guns, which can deal some pretty big-time damage, even with glancing blows, I've noticed. And the downside, well, the ship kind of has a lower hit pool than a lot of the other Tier 8 battleships in my port, and it is kind of slow and lumbering, which can kind of be expected with a big-time battleship like this. In any event, let's get into the setup of the ship and the commander, who is Takagi. I've got him maxed out to 16.4. His base trait is Phoenix, which improves the total HP restored by the repair party. And then for inspirations, I have Andrew Cunningham for Concentrated Devastation, which accrues the battleship main battery shell grouping. And then we have Robert Joujard with Bore, which improves the battleship's armor-piercing shell penetration multiplier. And then over here for the first skill, Flammable Cannoneer, which improves the battleship main battery range and its shell grouping, but that is at the risk of catching fire. Then we have Gyrating Drill Bits, which improves the battleship's gun traverse speed and main gun armor-piercing shell damage, but that is at the cost of the maximum battleship speed. Then we have Marksmanship, which improves the main battery dispersion, and that is at the cost of the rudder shift time, and these are just the qualities you have to put up with when you go with an accuracy build on your battleships. Fourth skill is Reaching Out XXL. Main battery range is improved by an additional 4%. Then here we have Will to Rebuild for the legendary skill. The amount of HP recovered is 110%, but the repair party duration is cut in half, down 50%, but the amount of HP recovered more than makes up for that. Special effect will auto repair when the HP is equal to or less than 20%, and that is active when you're within 3.5 kilometers of an allied ship here, and that is a benefit of legendary rank 4. 3.5 kilometers, that is. All right, so let's get into the upgrades for the Hizen. And when I first checked out the ship, the traverse speed was kind of bad, so we went with Main Battery Mod 2, which improves the main battery traverse speed by 20%. Then here we went with the Propulsion Mod 2 to improve the acceleration by 50% right there. And then here we went with Concealment System Mod 1. Detectability range is improved by 10%, and the incoming fire dispersion is improved by 5%, and this doubles up on your fully upgraded skin or camo. Then the last one, I went with the legendary modification for the main battery mod 3, which improves the main battery reload time, but the main battery traverse speed does kind of take a hit. And you can see that we do have the legendary modifications and epic mods going here. So for every 30,000 of damage, you would get an additional 2% improvement to your main battery reload time, and that can ratchet up 5 times. And then we have the legendary boost going here, so for every ship we destroyed, we deal 5% more damage with your main battery shells. Loadout, we have your high explosive shells, armor piercing shells, which we'll get into in a second. Damage control party is the first consumable here. Duration is 8 seconds, reloads every 76 seconds, and there is an unlimited number of those consumables. Then we have the repair party consumable, which will partially restore the ship's HP by repairing any light damage at the rate of 796 hit points per second. It runs for 14 seconds, reloads every 76 seconds, and there are 2 of those consumables. We have 4 catapult fighter consumables here, which will follow the ship and automatically attack the enemy aircraft, and you can also spot other ships out there and torpedoes when the catapult fighter is active. I went with this rather than the spotter or the enhanced secondary targeting, because the secondaries are not really all that great, as you're going to see in the stats. So I went with the catapult fighter. Duration is 90 seconds, and it reloads every 76 seconds. All right, and the only booster I have going here at the moment is the Epic Battle Booster, and that is to increase the main battery range by 3%. So you can see the pretty extreme range that I have here on the Hizen when we get into the specs. Ship comes with a cool Hizen flag, and it does come with a premium and permanent camouflage. Sea detectability and incoming fire dispersion is 4.5% respectively. Specs: survivability hit points is 75,900, and this is the bottom 3 of the hit point pool for any tier 8 battleship in my ports. Or that is another downside to the Hizen, is the very low hit point pool. Armor is 19 to 493 millimeter with a 37% torpedo damage reduction. Artillery is rated at 96. That is pretty good, I think, even though some people will tell you this number doesn't matter. Even still, it's 96. We have 4 turrets with 3 guns per turret. 16-inch guns. They reach out to 20.1 kilometers with that Epic Battle Booster running. Reloads every 30 seconds. Traverse time is pretty much acceptable there, 32 seconds. And HE shells have a maximum of 6,500 with a 30% chance of setting fire. Armor-piercing shells have a maximum of 13,310. And you've got some secondaries here, but they only reach out to 5 kilometers. And all right, the AA defenses, you may clear the sky pretty well with the Hizen. Time will tell. I haven't really run into any aircraft carriers in the few matches I have played. Maneuverability, maximum speed is 27 knots. So without the accuracy build, the speed would be close to 30 knots. So you do take a bit of a hit here by having an accuracy build with your commander. So you want to keep that in mind. Turning circle radius is 880 meters, 18-second rudder shift time, and the ship maneuvers like it too. Concealment, detectability range by sea is 13.3 kilometers, range by air is 11.2 kilometers, and while you're firing into smoke, it's 15.1 kilometers. Armor, this looks pretty standard for Tier 8 Japanese battleship. Let's see what we have on the bow and the stern. 29 to 33 millimeter thickness, can cause 16-inch and lower caliber armor-piercing shells to ricochet. So that is seems good on the surface. So let's remove the armor and take a look at the Citadel. And this looks like a pretty decent Citadel. A lot of yellow and orange, which is what you want to see. Even still, you go broadside, just kind of like the Yamato or the Iwami, and you will get taken out. Overview, the ship has big guns, and yeah, it is armed with high caliber main battery guns, and it does have a high number of those guns, which allows for a lot of damage from a single salvo. Reluctant gunnery, below average main battery reload speed. All right. So then the Hizen is a variant of the Super Battleship design, which preceded the Yamato class ships. It was planned for her to have 12 16.1 410 millimeter guns in triple gun turrets as her main battery. The design was 1935, and there were no ships in the series. All right, well, that's it for the setup of the ship and the commander. Let's go out in a standard battle and check out some highlights. All right, so even though there were no ships in the series, for longtime players or people who've been playing for the last several months, you may remember the Iwami. So here we go, a couple destroyers per side, a few cruisers, and 4 battleships per side. But yeah, so there was the Iwami, which is built off of the same basic plans as the Hizen here, and that was a campaign ship from several months ago. It is basically the same hull design as the Hizen, only it has 2 guns per turret instead of 3 here. So the Hizen has greater firepower from the greater number of guns, but its hit pool is a little bit lower, amazingly. And what you don't really realize about your first look videos is I had the Iwami set up basically the same as I have the Hizen right now. And after some time of playing, you know, a month or so of playing, it becomes kind of obvious that you want to try setting the Iwami up as a secondary build ship. And once you set the Iwami up for secondaries, that ship had a 10.5 kilometer secondary range, and it is my go-to Japanese secondary boat, and it is pretty effective in ranked battles, brawls, whatever. That's basically when I set that ship up for secondaries. And my point is, you just never know from your first look video what you're going to end up with a final solution for the ship. In that case, the Iwami was all about secondaries. In this case, who knows? This ship seems to be a pretty devastating battleship from the main gun perspective. And here within 3 minutes, we've gotten 11 hits with 22,000 damage. We took another shot at that Yamato over there, but we're coming around here to get with our teammates. And there you go. We've got the epic mod going already. We've got over 30,000 of damage. And yeah, you really don't want to go broadside in these ships. The Iwami, Yamato, and Musashi all suffer from the same deal. When you go broadside, is you will get taken out fairly easily, regardless of what that armor view looked like. So there is a Minotaur. This guy, if you can get a good shot on him, he would pretty much be gone. At least half of his health would be removed. So let's see what we can do. Half of his health is removed already from somebody that has already hit him. These shots look pretty darn good, but they do float a little bit, and he was turning out. So some glancing blows right there, and we are up to 42,000 damage just like that. So the one thing that I notice about the Hizen versus, say, the Iwami, or even the Yamato and Musashi, even though those ships are 18-inch guns, the Hizen definitely will inflict some big damage on what seems to be glancing blows. And here, I've noticed that when I fire, when the ship is behind an island like that, you can't really see it. So you really do use auto aim. A lot of times you will get some better damage there. That looked like that was a complete miss. But yeah, when you go behind islands, I just basically use auto aim and don't really adjust forward or anything. And that seems to be pretty darn accurate. All right, there is a Tulsa. He's angling out, so this is a tougher shot. I'm aiming up above the bow to try to take into account his turning out and going at an angle. We'll see if we can get him. And there's a couple more hits for 3,000 damage, it looked like. All right, so there we go. We're taking another shot at the Tulsa. He's angled out still, and there he's really turning out. He's really maneuvering, but it looks like some of these shells will hit. And 5,000 damage on some glancing blows right there. So now the match is basically evened up exactly. The Tulsa went down, so now we are ahead just a little bit based on the ship count. Right, so there was a destroyer over there. I've decided to go on this side of the island rather than get taken out by the destroyer. And the reason is the ship is not really all that maneuverable. I'm down to only one heel, so I don't want to go out there and become a huge, slow-moving target for a destroyer. So I'm going behind this island. And there is a Yoshino, and he can get taken out pretty easily. Here's an Elbing. Oh boy. So there is a destroyer I was looking to avoid, and he came and got me. And it was lucky on his part because I don't see any perceptive located marker here. But we've targeted him with our secondaries. And check this out. He's going to ram me and show me what it's all about. He's really going to take care of business right here. I hit the heel at the last minute, and he is gone, and it doesn't really inflict all that much damage. So I'm not really sure what that was about, but that was a thing, right? That was something right there. So maybe he saw a community contributor and tried to take him out. I'm not really sure. For sure, though, he showed me. All right, so there you go. That's that is probably not how you want to do it if you're in Elbing. Maybe when you're close like that, you have no other choice but to try to get some damage, and maybe that is what was going on there. He's looking to increase his damage count. And we are up by one ship. There is a Minotaur. Going with, wow. Going with some British camo instead of the default camo that comes with the Minotaur. And it's been a while since I completed the Minotaur Bureau project, and I completed the Minotaur Bureau project after the Minotaur campaign, so I forget whether the default camo that came with the Minotaur during the Minotaur project comes with the Minotaur out of the Bureau. So if anybody's watching this and you have recently completed the Minotaur Bureau, let me know what you think about whether the camo comes with the Minotaur. So there, I tried to steal a kill real quick and did not get the kill. So, all right, we are up to 72,000 damage. About 5 minutes to go. The medal was the medal for surviving a ram, I think is what that is. And I forget what the exact name is. But I do have a video that I created that explains what all the medals are. I will go ahead and leave a link for that video down below. It's always good to get a refresher on what the medals are about. So here I am kind of looking for that Yoshino over here. It does have some pretty big time torpedoes that have super long range and pretty high output. And it has, I think 12 of those torpedoes, maybe 16 of those torpedoes. It's 2 torpedo launchers per side. So the problem with that ship is it's kind of lumbering and it takes a while for it to maneuver around. And the Yoshino can get some massive amounts of torpedoes in the water at one time if the right thing happens. So I'm kind of looking out for the Yoshino. There he is. And the main guns on the Yoshino can kind of damage battleships, actually. So it does have an Achilles heel. There, I'm trying to steal another kill. I do not get the kill, and looks like the Colbert and the Yoshino took each other out. But we are coming up here to capture the base. All right, 3 ships against 2. We are ahead a little bit, and let me see. I'm being spotted, but I can't really see anybody. I'm looking around. Now we're starting to capture the base. We're still spotted. Yeah, still don't see who it is. I'm assuming it is the cruiser. There it is. It's the Minotaur. And let's see if we can take this guy out. He's angling out, so we have to do some fancy aiming. I've got him locked up for secondaries. Oh, there you go. There is some fancy aiming. Exactly 1 hit. It was a Citadel and a destroyed ship. So that's the way you want to do that, is you want to take out that guy with a single hit with a Citadel. And as far as our legendary modifications, that is up 2 ratchets. So we're getting extra 10% damage output here. And our epic modification is increased by 3 times. So we're up to 90,000 damage. 2 destroyed ships. There is a Minnesota. We will definitely get some more damage here on that guy. So the safe play is to stay behind the island so that I'm not exposed to the Minnesota. But looks like my teammate is rushing the Minnesota. So I'm going to slowly creep out here and see if I can spot him. There's only 1 minute and 20 seconds. Looks like his guns are in the wrong place, so we're going to go ahead and do it. 1 minute 14, 1 minute 12. $97,000 damage. I'm starting to back up a little bit. He's turning around in a lot of ways turning a battleship at full speed is a quicker way to get your guns on target than letting the guns traverse. And yeah, the guns are slowly traversing in this general direction there, but we do get another salvo out on him. See if we can take him out for a third destroyed ship. No, we are up over 100,000 damage, and he reset us, but I'm looking for damage now at this point anyway, and he gets taken out by the friendly Yamato. All right, well, there you go. A big time victory for the Hizen, and here is my first look at the new post battle results screen here. So I kind of like the way that this is formatted. Let me just go ahead and say that. 422,000 credits, 101,000 battle performance total damage on 38 main gun hits, 2 destroyed ships, a flooding, a Citadel hit. The flooding must have been from the ram attempt. 11 secondary hits, and the medal down there for surviving the ram attempt. And we've earned 15 barrels of oil for your fleet totals there. So, all right, let's go ahead and check out the team result. All right, second place overall, 2,200 XP. Not too bad. Almost first place overall. We weren't that far away from first place there. 2 destroyed ships. Yeah, one of the first matches in the Hizen. The ship really does pretty well for me anyway. I've got 10 matches in the Hizen at this point, and I've won 7 matches, so that's not too shabby. Here we go for the economy tab. 236,000 credits by the time it's all said and done. All right, well, that's it for my first look at the Hizen, and I got to admit, I really liked the ship, and I don't think you can really go wrong with your 2,500 doubloon Admiralty backing on this one. It has big time damage potential from those main battery guns, but you do have to watch out because it is kind of slow and lumbering. It does have a lower hit pool than, say, the Iwami, which has fewer guns, so there's a compensation there. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.